It's just like
Okay.
a bunch of stuff that like the cars that I could have maybe even played that day and people would have been very happy. I listened to like Leonard Skinner recently and sleigh bells and 10,000 gex and like all that stuff. Like I'm way more open-minded now than I was then. Then I was a, a genre guy, and that's why like I understand this guy. People are like they're asking him to do something, but he needs to understand that they want, like, you can play Free Will by Rush, and I'll bet you everybody there would get like excited and really enjoy that. But he was like, I need to play the most obscure, like B-side Emerson Lake and Palmer.
Yeah, that's exactly like I said. I mean, he wants to be the guy, the only one who likes it. That's the thing I think,
Well,
for
here's
Well,
some of these people.
I think this is the trouble too of putting and I did it. I went to school and studied jazz, and for a long time that was me, right? Like I was the guy being like, well, look, like I know that maybe you don't want to listen to like a 22-minute version of John Coltrane playing my favorite things, but like it's really important that you do. And like now it's not that I feel that different now, honestly. I just shut the fuck up.
You
Like
understand now when
yeah,
you get older. It's
like
like with everything, when you're younger, you just don't understand the concept that like all of your thoughts don't have to be elucidated to everyone around you. I used to do it about much worse and dumber shit because I didn't study something cool like jazz.
well,
I mean, cool. It's debatable.
yeah.
I do not know that a jazz guy is any different from a prog guy. Like, if anything, they will have more overlap.
Yeah, but
In
maybe
like in like
it's cool because you're like you play cool music. I'm sure it informed it and helped to you to become a musician
But
playing cool music. So
But I
that's
myself,
cool.
I think the entire time I myself was not that cool about
I
it. I
see.
think that's the thing. Is like even if your taste is cool,
Yeah.
you can undermine that taste by not being cool about it.
And if you
Yeah,
go to school for something, it is hard. You're like learning all about it, like around every aspect of it, and you do want to share that knowledge with people, you know?
I mean, I pulled out the Harvard Dictionary of
Yeah,
fucking music, right? Like,
well,
exactly.
listen to
Yeah.
this guy. I'm gonna read you guys a crazy comment from a guy, longtime listener 17. He
Mhm.
replies to this thing: try being into classical music, especially
Uh,
20th century classical. Makes progressive rock seem as au courant as Succession, although that's probably so May at this point. So
oh,
whatever.
that's just that's sort of a comment on the fast-paced, social media culture and media culture in general that we deal with in the modern day, and I appreciate that in my comments.
Au courant.
Current like Succession, although that's probably out of date already as well. I love that to like throw a little bit of like, okay, so this guy does know what's going on in the world. Let's listen to his
he's not
comment.
just sitting in his room listening to
No,
Philip Glass.
no, this guy's got a little credibility.
Again,
Uh,
I've stared into the abyss of some of these guys. Like I also love 20th century classical music. I had professors in school who like were essentially that guy, right? Like and so I think there's a lot of value in that, but there's also a lot of value in all kinds of different music, and it's so strange to me. Like I worked in a record store in Toronto before we started touring for a long time, right? And uh the worst possible customer interactions were always single dudes who were lined up before the store opened on
Mhm.
Saturday morning.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was those guys for
Right.
Newman
Yeah,
in
absolutely. And
99,
it's like
97.
and they're coming in and those are the records they're pulling out, right? They're pulling out like avant-garde music and progressive rock sometimes and jazz sometimes, or like really really this one is cool on its face, but then you start to talk to people about it and it just it becomes as obnoxious, but like deep like soul, like guys who are like really 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 intense about soul and like R&B music, and then you like talk to them and they're like they hate D'Angelo, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
But they're because
You
they're
asshole.
pure. That I think I think I'm just like thinking about it, and I'm not. I just like music is so like great music that you connect to. It like it like so affecting for a person. I think that's why these people get so deeply into it. You know,
Yeah.
like it's so easy to sort of get attached to it and be like the experience you have when you sit down with this like great, you know, classical album, you know, piece or whatever. It like brings you to this place that you just can't even. So yeah, you get really defensive about it, and but yeah, anytime you get gatekeeping, like when you anytime you start trying to like sort of gatekeep anyone else's experience on something that you don't have the any involvement in creating, is it's really strange to me.